Right, so we are the team SoulsGen, and our project is about to build a generative model to generate a stylized description of a given item in a game Dark Souls genre. And you can see from the right, here's an example of a game item, which is the input is an item name and output is a description. And what is our desired style? It mainly contains the description of the usage and a background story, which is in Western fantasy style and often in scattered narratives. And there's a lot of style favored terminologies. And so how do we collect our data set? It's from a non-official game wiki. So we collect the data by downloading the HTML source code and to use regular expression to extract the text from the containers. And so we simply process the data by cleaning the entities and filtering failed expressions like null and non-existence. And so our data set is mainly contain 2,200 samples from 4 game series and 12 categories of items. That's actually not a small amount. So our baseline approach is to use a TextGen RNN model, which is originally used to generate fake Reddit by giving a Reddit title. So the structure of the model is remain unchanged, but we fine-tune the hyperparameters to have the 30 epochs, and the optimizer is the Atom optimizer with a learning rate of 40 -3. So so this baseline model is generally very slow in generating the output. We will discuss it later.
So for our generator, it's a standard GPT-2 transformer with about 100 million parameters, with a positional embedding design and 12 transformer blocks in total. We train this mode on our data set about 80% for training and the rest are for validation. We also test our mode in another separate data set.
So here's our sample results. So we input item named as Dark Stoneplate Ring, which from another game not included in the dataset. And so the SoulsGen output is a stylized description of the item, which contains 3 paragraphs. The first one is what is the item, and the second one is how to use it, and the third one is a kind of scattered background storage. And so the score is being given by a classifier, and we will talk about it later. And here's another result, which shows that we can actually input anything which is being makes sense in our real life. So here we input a cup of water, and it's still given a output of a stylized description, which see this cup of water as a magic item. So
Yeah, for our evaluation matrix, we use another GPT-2 transformer with a classifier head, and which can give you a scalar output that indicates whether it's a Dark Souls style or not. And it has a similar structure as our generator, but it's much smaller. We train this mode on about 1,000 samples, which half of them are the positive samples randomly picked from our original data set. Another half is the negative samples that describe the same things, but in plain English. Yes, and after evaluate our mode on another data set, the mixture from in-game items and also the out-game items, we find that our generator can have a significantly better performance in general. And we also find that it's much faster in generation for a single description context.
So for our results, the results are, I think our model can do faster and more confident in classification score compared to the baseline, and most output matches the original style subjectively. So the model can support any inputs, but the output is not always good when facing hard cases, like you are inputting something like, bro, this is ridiculous. So users can manually tune the parameters like the temperature and top K if needed. So our learning here is that we think our model can be applied to an online generator and also be integrated into Discord chatbot, and we can help writers with some conceptual inspirations of like writing a background story of an item. So it can also combine with an image generator, so it can generate as an image that show on the front page, which is also contains a stylized image of the item. So our future work will mainly focusing on actually improving our model by user feedbacks, because we put our model online, then the user can tell us whether the model generates good or not. So we can use their feedbacks that count as a kind of manual labeling. So and we think we can also transform this model into word-based terminology generators.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.